今晚杰夫爷爷给你做牛排。
Today, I'm going to show you how I make steak. So this is a very thick ribeye steak. And what I like to do is give it a dry salt brine. And you do that by taking some big crystal salt, kosher salt, and heavily salting the meat all over. You want to put the salt all over. And this is not going to make the meat too salty. This is a big piece of meat. It weighs about 2 pounds. This one steak is about 2 pounds, which means we can easily use about 2 tablespoons of salt. And what will happen is it will go into the refrigerator overnight and the salt will be absorbed. And then tomorrow we'll take the steak out and I'll show you what it looks like before I put it in the oven. So one thing I forgot to mention is that we want the steak to dry in the refrigerator. And so we're going to put it on the rack and we don't cover it. We put it uncovered in the refrigerator and let the cold air dry the meat out. This is about 18 hours later after the steak has been in the refrigerator, and you can see all of the salt has disappeared. It's all been absorbed into the meat and the top is dry. And now we're going to let it warm up a little bit before we put it in the refrigerator. A few minutes before we're going to put the steak in the oven, we want to preheat the oven for 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to turn on the lower oven. We're going to bake. We're going to set it to 220 degrees. There we go. And we're going to preheat the oven. Okay, now that the oven is at 220 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to go back to our steak, which has been resting out of the refrigerator. We're going to make sure to pat it dry, both sides. And then I've already in here mixed some freshly ground pepper, black pepper, a little cayenne pepper, and some garlic powder. And up high, I'm going to season. Now remember, no salt, because we've already salted the meat. But we want to put this pretty heavy over this side, turn it over, and we're going to sprinkle it on this side as well. Kind of get it all over the steak here. I'm going to even put a little bit in my hand and try to get it on the side. We're going to use all of it. It's a big piece of meat. And now we're not going to guess at how done it is. We're going to use a thermometer. So we're going to take a meat thermometer and we're going to put it into the thickest part of the meat in the center. So maybe about there. So I'm going to measure it, okay? And then I'm going to put the thermometer in a little past where I measured it. And then we're going to turn this on. Okay.
So what does it say?
So right now the alarm is set for 125. We're actually going to make that 120 because this is a big piece of meat and the carryover time will be a lot. So now we're just going to get a pan and we're going to place the steak on the pan and bring the thermometer over here and put the steak in the warm oven, like so. This is going to take about 2 hours or so to reach that temperature, and we'll come back when this alarm goes off. See you then. All right. So the timer is going off, and you'll notice I decided to raise the doneness by 3 degrees because... All right, now, this looks terrible.
Wow.
And it's supposed to look terrible because the meat is cooked on the inside to the perfect temperature, but now it needs to rest, and it's going to look a lot better after we brown it. Okay, so we'll be back after the meat has rested. It's been a half hour since we took the steak out of the oven. It has rested, and now we're going to make it look beautiful. So, I don't have the oil with me. So, I'm outside on the grill because this can make a lot of smoke and I'd rather do it outside than inside. I have a pan heating on high heat and I'm going to add a little bit of a high smoke oil. We'll wait for that. See, that's smoking a bit now, you can see. And we're going to take our beautiful steak and carefully put it into the pan, bringing it away from us, and making sure that it makes good contact with the pan. All right? And we're going to set a timer for 1 minute. It's been 1 minute. Now we're going to turn the steak. Oops. Now, doesn't that look a lot better?
That's a fact. Wow.
Now we set the timer for another minute. Now, if I can do it, we're going to try to brown the fat top on this side, which isn't going to take as long. We're just going to keep it for a few seconds. All right, that's it. All the way around. On the side. The final flavoring. We're going to add some butter. Right in there. And we're going to add some of our homemade grown rosemary and some of our homegrown garlic. And we're going to bake the steak with the liquid if I can get around it. A little bit, just the flavor. Now the steak should be done.
Ooh, beautiful. Ooh.
We're going to slice into the steak and see how we did. Look at how beautiful. Perfectly done. Beautiful, and it is. Beautiful slices. Beautiful. Look at that. Juicy, medium rare. Perfect. This is seriously good. Very good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It really is seriously good.